Failure is not your enemy, it is your greatest teacher. Every person who has ever tasted victory has first swallowed the bitterness of defeat. When life knocks you down, it's not trying to break you, it's inviting you to rise stronger, wiser, and more determined than before. The road to greatness is not paved with comfort, but with mistakes, lessons, and the courage to begin again after every fall. Failure is a mirror, not a wall. It never blocks your path, it shows you what needs to change for you to continue forward. When a person falls, life is not punishing them, it is teaching them. The reflection of failure reveals your weaknesses, your gaps, and the illusions you hold about yourself. It removes pride and forces you to see the truth. Those who dare to look into that mirror with honesty rise wiser and sharper, because they no longer live in denial of their flaws. The ego fears failure because it cannot handle imperfection, but the soul grows through it. Each fall burns away arrogance and replaces it with awareness. Those who have never failed often live in a fragile comfort zone, protected by fear of risk. But those who have faced failure know that every scar on their journey carries the mark of evolution. Failure doesn't destroy a person, it reshapes them. It bends their will into steel and transforms uncertainty into direction. Every fall refines your path and strengthens your resolve. When you stumble, you are forced to question your motives, your choices, and your purpose. That questioning is the birthplace of clarity. Failure has a strange way of pointing you toward what truly matters. Success without failure is hollow, it lacks depth and humility. But when victory rises from the ashes of defeat, it carries a different weight, a deeper meaning that only experience can forge. Resilience is not born in comfort, it is born in chaos. Every failure tests your patience, your consistency, and your belief in yourself. Those who keep moving despite the pain develop an inner force that cannot be broken. The ones who run from failure live in the illusion of safety, while the ones who face it become unshakable. Failure removes false expectations and leaves behind the purity of purpose. It strips away everything temporary until only your true strength remains. Each failure plants the seed of wisdom. It teaches lessons that no teacher or book can offer. The road to victory is never straight, it wins through countless falls and recoveries. True triumph is not about reaching the end unscarred. It is about standing tall after every fall. Victory belongs to those who refuse to surrender when everything falls apart. It is not the absence of failure, but the mastery of it that leads to greatness. The ego fears failure because it thrives on the illusion of control and perfection. It wants recognition, validation, and the comfort of being right. When failure strikes, the ego feels shattered because its identity depends on success. It starts blaming, denying, or escaping rather than accepting the fall. But that very breaking of ego is necessary because without it, there can be no true growth. Failure burns away the false image you build around yourself and shows you who you really are beneath all the noise of pride and expectation. When the ego falls silent, the soul begins to speak. In the space created by failure, understanding grows. The soul does not see failure as defeat, it sees it as experience. Every mistake becomes a lesson, every disappointment becomes a message. The inner being learns not to attach itself to outcomes, but to the effort, the journey, and the transformation that comes through struggle. Where the ego sees loss, the soul sees evolution. Failure humbles the mind and awakens awareness. It strips away the arrogance that comes from easy victories and reveals the strength that comes only from endurance. The soul absorbs pain, processes it, and turns it into wisdom. That wisdom doesn't just guide future actions, it shapes your entire way of seeing life. Through failure, the soul learns patience, acceptance, and resilience. It discovers that real power lies not in never falling, but in rising with greater understanding every time. When you experience failure deeply, something within you shifts. You stop chasing applause and start seeking truth. You stop pretending to be unbreakable and start realizing that your true strength is your ability to heal and grow. The ego may resist this change because it thrives on control, but the soul thrives on surrender. It accepts the lessons hidden in pain and allows them to polish the rough edges of your being. Every great transformation begins with the collapse of the ego and the awakening of the soul. Failure is the tool that forces this transformation. It humbles what is shallow and strengthens what is eternal within you. When the ego finally learns to bow down, the soul rises. What once felt like loss becomes the first real step toward inner victory. Falling is proof that you dared to move when others stood still. It shows that you had the courage to step beyond the safety of comfort and face the risk of breaking. Those who never fail are not stronger, they are simply too afraid to test their own limits. A person who never falls has never truly lived, because life itself is a series of rises and falls. Every great achievement carries the silent story of countless failures hidden beneath it. The one who has fallen and risen again carries a strength that no untouched success can ever give. When you fall, the world may laugh, doubt, or turn away, but that moment defines your true measure. You can choose to stay down, or you can decide to rise with more force than before. Each fall tears away weakness, teaching you what cannot be learned through comfort. The ground you hit becomes your teacher, and the pain becomes your reminder that you are alive and fighting. Only through falling does your spirit learn how to endure, and only through enduring do you discover what you are truly capable of. Those who fear falling live in the illusion of safety. They move carefully, speak cautiously and dream within boundaries. But life rewards only those who take the leap, not those who hesitate on the edge. Every fall carries a lesson, every failure hides a seed of progress. The fall is not your enemy, it is the test that separates those who wish from those who will. Fear of falling keeps people trapped in smallness, while embracing it opens the path to greatness. Each time you fall, you break a little, but you also rebuild stronger. Every scar becomes a mark of wisdom, every wound a lesson in resilience. The pain of failure cuts deep, but it also awakens a fire that cannot be extinguished by ease. People who rise from their falls develop an unshakable spirit, one that no criticism or obstacle can bend. Their confidence no longer comes from success, but from their ability to stand again and again, no matter how many times life strikes them down. Falling is not the end, it is the process through which true victory is forged. Each stumble, each loss, and each failure is proof that you were brave enough to act when others remained silent. It shows that you had faith in your own strength and were willing to risk everything to grow. The mark of a real warrior is not that they never fall, but that they never stay fallen. The ground you touch in failure becomes the same ground you push against to rise higher than ever before. Each failure reshapes your direction, clearing away the fog that blinds you to your true purpose. When things fall apart, you are forced to look deeper and question your intentions, your actions, and your motives. Failure exposes the false goals you chase and reveals what truly matters. It cuts through illusions and points toward authenticity. The pain that comes with failure is not destruction, it is correction. It turns your attention away from what is temporary and aligns you with what is real. When you lose something you thought was meant for you, it is life's way of showing that your path must bend, not break. Every setback holds a silent message that says, not this way. The disappointment you feel is not punishment, it is redirection. You may not understand it in the moment, but each failure is moving you closer to where your energy truly belongs. The universe removes what no longer serves your growth, even if your mind resists the loss. Failure is the compass of destiny. It turns your steps toward the direction your soul was meant to travel. Many chase goals shaped by ego, fear or imitation, but failure strips away those illusions and forces you to confront your truth. It teaches you to stop following the noise of the world and start listening to the quiet voice within. That voice, once drowned out by ambition, begins to guide you towards something more meaningful, something that cannot be taken away by loss or rejection. When you walk through failure, clarity begins to rise like light breaking through clouds. You start to understand why certain things didn't work, why certain people left, and why certain doors closed. What once looked like an ending now feels like a shift. You begin to see that success achieved without purpose is hollow, while failure endured with awareness leads to transformation. It sharpens your vision and strengthens your sense of direction. Every setback becomes a teacher that reshapes your journey. Without failure, you would continue wandering in circles, chasing things that don't belong to you. But when failure hits, it jolts you awake. It reminds you that life is not about reaching a destination quickly. It is about finding the right path with depth and meaning. Each failure corrects your course until your direction aligns with your destiny, and in that alignment, real victory begins to form. Resilience is not born in ease, it is forged in struggle. The mind learns to endure only when it has been pushed to its breaking point. Every fall tests your strength, every failure challenges your belief, and every loss hardens your will. Comfort creates weakness, but adversity builds endurance. When life shakes you again and again, it is not trying to destroy you, it is trying to make you unshakable. Strength does not come from winning once. It comes from falling countless times and still finding the courage to rise. When the ground beneath you collapses, something powerful awakens inside. You begin to realize that pain is not your enemy, it is the fire that refines you. Every hardship strips away fear and teaches you to move forward despite uncertainty. The mind that has suffered learns calmness, the heart that has been broken learns compassion, and the soul that has been tested learns patience. Without these experiences, resilience cannot exist. You cannot build inner steel without first being melted by the heat of struggle. People often mistake resilience for toughness, but they are not the same. Toughness resists, resilience adapts. A tough person may break under constant pressure, but a resilient one bends, adjusts and continues. Resilience is born when you accept pain instead of fighting it, when you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What now?" It is not an act of stubbornness. It is a deep understanding that life blows are molding you into something greater than before. Every fall leaves behind a scar, and every scar tells a story of survival. These marks remind you that you have faced storms and are still standing. They become symbols of your evolution, not your defeat. Each time you are knocked down, you gain more wisdom, more discipline, and more control over your emotions. You learn to stay calm when chaos surrounds you because you have seen worse and survived it. This quiet strength becomes your greatest weapon against fear and doubt. The mind becomes unshakable only through the experience of being shaken. The heart grows fearless only after it has felt the pain of breaking. Resilience is not a gift, it is earned through endurance. Every fall is a training ground for greatness. The more you are tested, the deeper your roots grow and the stronger your foundation becomes. In the end, resilience is the silent force that turns ordinary people into unstoppable souls. Success without failure breeds arrogance. because it blinds a person to the value of effort. When victory comes too easily, it feeds the illusion that strength and wisdom are natural gifts instead of earned qualities. Such success creates a false sense of superiority, a belief that one is untouchable. But the truth is that every easy win weakens the foundation of character. Only through failure does a person truly understand the price of success and the discipline required to sustain it. When someone rises without ever falling, they begin to see others who struggle as weak or unworthy. That arrogance grows quietly, poisoning judgment and disconnecting them from reality. Failure, on the other hand, humbles the heart. It reminds you that effort, not luck, defines worth. It forces you to recognize your limits and respect the battles others face. Without failure, there can be no empathy, no understanding of struggle, and no appreciation for what victory truly means. Those who have faced defeat know the value of every step toward progress. They understand that success is not a single moment, but a series of recoveries from countless setbacks. Each fall strips away pride and replaces it with gratitude. When you finally rise after failing, you no longer see success as something owed to you, but as something earned through perseverance. That awareness kills arrogance and replaces it with humility. Arrogance makes a person careless, but failure teaches precision. The arrogant think they cannot lose, so they stop learning. The humbled understand that growth never ends, so they remain alert, curious, and adaptable. Failure sharpens instincts that comfort dulls. It keeps ambition alive, but tames the ego that tries to take credit for everything. Without the balance of failure, success becomes shallow, a fragile shell that cracks under pressure. True victory belongs to those who have tasted defeat and refuse to be defined by it. They carry their scars not as signs of weakness, but as proof of resilience. The humility gained through failure transforms success into service, compassion, and strength. Those who rise after falling see the world differently. They no longer crave applause, they value authenticity. That understanding separates the proud from the wise, the fortunate from the strong, and the arrogant from the truly victorious. Failure cleanses false expectations and strips away illusions that cloud the mind. It exposes the difference between what you want and what you are truly ready for. When everything collapses, you are forced to confront the lies you've told yourself about your abilities, your strength, and your purpose. It tears down the comfort of assumptions and replaces it with the harsh truth of reality. Through that truth, growth begins. Failure does not destroy your vision, it purifies it, leaving behind only what is real and necessary. People often build dreams on borrowed expectations. What society wants, what others admire, what the ego craves. These false motives are heavy and fragile. When failure comes, it crushes them completely, forcing you to see how much of your life was shaped by external validation. The pain of losing what you thought you wanted reveals what truly belongs to you. In that moment, you stop living to please the world and start living to fulfill your purpose. The illusions of success are seductive. They promise recognition, comfort, and control, but they also blind you to your deeper needs. Failure shatters those illusions and makes you face the emptiness behind them. When nothing goes as planned, you are left with yourself, raw, uncertain, and honest. That confrontation is painful but powerful because it removes everything fake. What remains after failure is something pure, the truth of who you are and what you genuinely stand for. Each failure burns away a layer of pride, making your intentions clearer and your direction sharper. You start to see that the goals built on ego were never strong enough to last. The more you fail, the more you understand that the real purpose of effort is not achievement but transformation. The outer results may disappear, but the inner strength, the clarity and the wisdom gained remain untouched. Failure cleans the path that success once cluttered with noise and distractions. In the aftermath of failure, there is silence, a silence where clarity is born. You no longer chase shadows of approval or illusions of perfection. You begin to build again, not from desire to impress, but from a deep connection to truth. The false expectations are gone, replaced by authentic purpose. Failure doesn't just break you, it frees you. It removes everything unworthy of your energy and leaves behind the strength to walk the path that truly belongs to you. Growth begins the moment comfort ends. Comfort is a silent killer that slowly drains strength, courage and ambition. It whispers that you've done enough, that you've earned rest, that there is no need to push further. But nothing extraordinary has ever been born out of ease. The human spirit is designed to expand only when it is challenged, stretched and tested. Every person who has risen beyond mediocrity has done so by walking away from comfort and willingly stepping into discomfort, uncertainty and struggle. When you stay in comfort, you remain trapped within invisible walls. It feels safe, but it is the safety of stillness, not stability. You stop evolving, your dreams grow smaller and your hunger for growth fades. Comfort is deceptive because it disguises stagnation as peace. You start mistaking inaction for balance and fear for wisdom. Yet deep down, something inside you knows that this stillness is not satisfaction, it is slow decay. Growth demands movement, and movement demands discomfort. Stepping into discomfort is not about suffering, it is about expansion. Every time you choose the harder path, you stretch the limits of your mind and body. Discomfort sharpens focus, builds endurance, and reveals potential you didn't know existed. It breaks the illusions of limitation and forces you to confront your raw strength. The more you face discomfort, the less it controls you. What once terrified you becomes your training ground, and what once seemed impossible becomes part of your reality. Those who live for comfort often settle for less than what they are capable of. They choose predictability over purpose and convenience over growth. But those who dare to walk into discomfort find a different kind of freedom, a freedom born from mastery, not avoidance. The pain of effort transforms into the pride of progress. Each challenge faced becomes proof of your evolution, showing that you are not shaped by ease, but by the courage to endure difficulty. Growth is a continuous process of dying and becoming. Every time you step beyond comfort, an old part of you breaks and a stronger one takes its place. The body learns resilience, the mind learns patience, and the spirit learns power. Comfort protects who you are, but discomfort reveals who you can become. Only when you walk beyond what feels safe do you touch the edges of your true potential and realize that real growth has no finish line. It only begins where comfort ends. Every failure plants a seed of wisdom that grows only through pain, reflection and persistence. When everything goes wrong, when the plan collapses and effort seems wasted, something deeper begins to move inside you. That movement is awareness. It opens your eyes to details you ignored, patterns you repeated, and truths you refused to face. Books can teach you theories, but failure teaches you reality. It carves lessons into your being that no advice or instruction could ever replace. The wisdom born from failure cannot be imitated. It comes from lived experience, from moments when you had to face darkness with no guarantee of light. That kind of wisdom builds depth in your character. It teaches patience when things move slowly, discipline when emotions run wild, and gratitude when progress finally comes. Through failure, you learn how to navigate chaos with calmness, how to lead without pride, and how to keep moving when nothing goes your way. Victory is not a moment of celebration, it is the final echo of countless struggles, breakdowns and recoveries. It is not the prize at the end of the road, but the proof that you refuse to stop walking when everything pushed against you. Endurance is the fire that forges victory. It burns away weakness, fear, and doubt until only determination remains. Every step taken in exhaustion, every effort made in silence, and every tear shed in frustration builds the foundation on which victory stands. Those who chase quick wins never understand the weight of true triumph, because real victory cannot exist without pain. Endurance is the test of character that separates dreamers from achievers. Many start the journey with excitement, but few continue when the struggle grows heavy. The ones who endure do not rely on luck or inspiration, they rely on discipline. They keep going when the body hurts and the mind wants to quit. Every time they choose to continue instead of giving in, they gain power over themselves. This quiet strength grows unnoticed, yet it becomes the force that carries them across the finish line when others have already fallen. True victory is not about defeating others but about conquering your own weakness. The fight is always within. The battle between comfort and effort, fear and courage, despair and persistence. When you master that inner war, no external obstacle can stop you. Endurance teaches you to be steady when life becomes chaotic, to keep your direction when the world seems uncertain. It turns pain into power and struggle into progress. Victory is simply the reflection of that inner mastery. Victory, when born from endurance, is not loud or boastful. It is calm, grounded and powerful. It carries the quiet confidence of someone who has been through the fire and emerged stronger. It no longer needs validation because it knows its worth. The person who endures understands that victory is not the end of the road. It is the transformation of the soul that refused to surrender. Endurance is not just the path to victory, it is the essence of it. When you understand that failure is simply life's way of sculpting your strength, you stop fearing it. The pain, the embarrassment, the disappointment, all are part of your transformation. Every scar becomes a story of survival, every mistake a step toward mastery. Remember, the ones who win are not those who never fail, but those who keep standing up until failure itself gives up on them.